Today we have with us Honorable Justice B.N. SriKrishna ji, Indian jurist and former judge of the Supreme Court of India. Thank you for being with us, sir. So, what are your thoughts about this exhibition and the views of His Holiness Pandit Maharaj ji?
Pandit Maharaj ji has done a deep study of the Indian scriptures. So he has been able to delve into the scriptures and take out the precious thoughts from Manusmriti, Chanakya, and then Sukhaniti, Mahabharata, everything that talks of governance, justice, and legal system. Basically, his thesis is that it is time for us to talk not only in terms of legal justice or justice according to law, but he says justice should be the fundamental and law should be born around justice. So basically, concentrate and focus on the justice part of it, and law automatically follows. That is his thesis.
So, I would like to ask your views on our constitution and fundamental rights. Do you believe that today's transition justifies a shift from right-centric constitution to one where duties play an equal or a greater role?
Actually, if you go back in history, the Indian state itself was duty-based. Fundamental rights were recognized, but they were not called fundamental rights as we call it in Part 3 of our Constitution. Now, if you look at Kautilya or Sukhaniti or Chanakya or Mahabharata, any one of these scriptural tomes, you will find that everybody's rights as it defined there. The difficulty arises is when the Britishers took over India, there was no methodology by which you could force them to recognize this. The Britishers were used to what happened in England. In England, people had to revolt, and then you know how they forced them to find a charter, and then how the king had to abdicate and subject himself to parliament. So the same concept they introduced here, and they said, like Professor Dicey says in his book, that the rule of law should prevail. Now, what has happened is rule of law should prevail in order to promote justice. But if you make rule of law except the objective, justice fails into the background. That is exactly what has. And the chapter Part 3 of enforcement of fundamental rights against the sovereign became necessary because the sovereign was not recognizing. If the sovereign recognized that you had a right and I should follow it and make sure that your rights are not infringed, why do you need this kind of a fundamental right to be enforced on the sovereign?
Right.
It's actually built on ulta actually.
I would like to ask you some rapid fire questions now. So, which requires an instant answer. Rights primarily protect against the state or also regulate private power?
Both.
Duties strengthening rights or weakening them?
Just strengthen the rights.
Economic freedom under threat or adapting to welfare governance?
It is attempting to into harmonizing with welfare measures.
Property as a constitutional right or a policy-driven entitlement?
Personally, it's my view that as a right, it should have been left alone. It should have done greater things. There have been greater incentive for people to work.
Judicial interpretation expanding the constitution or stretching it too far?
No, I think judicial interpretation has been very balanced in the matter of constitution.
Right.